Orders just come over to stand down. For some of the lads, they're going to keep their eyes open for Jerry. Thinking of making myself a brew will be the first of the day. I cannot believe I've just survived the worst day of my life. The horrors I've just witnessed are embedded into my brain and will live me forever. It's a long way from when I first joined up. On August the 4th, we declared war on Germany. The lads and me were full of excitement. For days after, we spoke on how we were going to join up together and sort out the hunt. We were all working as dock workers at Swansea docks. Even the foreman was urging us to go. We'd heard all over the town that the Lord Mayor was starting our town's own battalion. On the 25th September, I, along with the rest of the lads, we rushed to the recruiting station at the Guildhall in Somerset Place. Some of us hadn't even told our families we were joining up. I'd signed on the dotted line. I was so excited. I was now going to be part of the 14th Service Battalion, Welch Regiment. We were so proud. We were being nicknamed the Swansea Pals Battalion. Every town in Wales were going to do the same. A few days later, I was placed in A Company. We received our uniform and kit. We even stood outside the George pub in the Mumbles on parade. My family were watching. I was so proud. But then we moved on for training for 2 years. On the 2nd of December 1915, we embarked from Southampton and we disembarked for Le Havre. In January 1916, our battalion moved into the line. Oh, if I only knew then what the horrors I would be seeing. We'd only recently been, along with all the other Welsh battalions, formed into the 38th Welsh Division. We were now part of Lloyd George's own Welsh army. But here I am now, sitting knee-deep in mud, and with the stench of death all around me. Only a few days ago, we were told that the big push that was going to be taking place. Although our battalion were not used during the original offensive, we were spared the carnage of the 1st of July. I was too well aware of the massacre that we had on that day. 60,000 lads lost in one day for hardly any objectives taken. I knew what was waiting for us over the coming days. It was just a matter of time. Out of the original lads who I signed up with, we've already lost 1 or 2 to the sniper fire, bombs, or even trench raids. This has really hit me hard, as those who died or were wounded were in front of me at the time. 4 days ago, we had orders to move up to the positions in front of a copse or wood, known to lads as Mametz. On the 7th, I was told units from the 16th Welsh and the South Wales Borderers had left their positions and had moved off down the slope towards the wood. They were met by heavy German machine gun fire and then enemy bombardment. On the 8th, 2 further attacks on the wood were made by units from our 17th Division, but each assault was repelled by Jerry. I knew the way it was going, our battalion wouldn't be too long that we would be used, as we were receiving such great casualties. On the 9th, our company had now moved into the forward trench. The order had come down that the division will attack Mamtez Wood tomorrow with a view to capturing the whole of it. In front of us was a slope that moved down towards the wood itself. It was 0300 hours or 3 o'clock in the morning that we were in position, ready with our bombardment commencing at 0330. After saying our goodbyes to each other and completing the writing of all our letters home to our loved ones, the attack was postponed until this morning. Early this morning, we were told the attack would be taking place. Again, at 0330, the bombardment would be taking place. We all again said our farewells and finalised our letters. I was shaking like a leaf. I was well aware of what had gone on before us, with the other lads not coming back. I thought it would be the end, and I would not see the end of the day. I overheard one of the captains telling another officer, at 0405, Our battalion is going to take that wood. But," and then he paused, "we shall lose our battalion." I felt the hair stand on my back and my neck. No one was going home. I had seen Swansea for the last time. We were checking all our kit was secure, all equipment with bomb, and had sufficient ammo. An officer walked up to us. He said, "Boys, make your peace with God." We were going to take that position, and some of us won't be coming back. But we will take it. Following the completion of that tremendous bombardment, we all thought nothing could survive that. Then, at 04:05, with our bayonets fixed, our battalion, along with the 13th Welsh who were next to us, were ordered over the top. The whistle blew, and we clambered up the trench ladders and onto no man's land. We began moving forward in 8 waves. We were walking in perfect order. We were told to walk and not to run, as to keep our shape. The machine gun fire and rifle fire was well trained on us. Words fail me to describe this stage of the attack. Lads were just dropping to the floor all around me. The further we moved on, the heavier the casualties. I could see all our officers falling to the ground. It seemed the Germans were apt at picking them off. I could hear fast pinging noises of bullets passing over and around me. But we still pushed on. I was in the 3rd wave. Somehow I managed to reach the fringe of the wood. I could not see any sign of the first 2 waves. Some of the lads I knew had fallen. Some I'd passed lying on the slope. The others, I presume, had already entered the battered wood and were now lost to sight. Where I'd reached the wood, I was unable to enter due to tangled undergrowth, and I had to move sideways a short distance until I could find a point of entry. Once I got inside the wood, I saw the horrors of what had gone before me. I quickly saw where some of the earlier waves had gone, since I could see our lads and the Jerrys lying thick around the ground. I pressed on. Suddenly I saw 2 Germans in front of me in thick bushes. I shot at them with a few rounds of my SMLE, or short magazine, Lee Enfield. They quickly moved away. As I moved further in, I walked into a German. His body was hanging from the branches of a tree. He had been strapped into his position. He was a sniper. I could hear voices of officers who had survived the assault, barking out orders all around me. The whole situation was chaotic. Rifle, machine gun fire was thunderous. Bombs and shells exploded everywhere. As I dived for cover from the jaws of death, I saw Lieutenant Hawkins, a Welsh international rugby player before the war, charge down 2 German machine guns, both of which he captured, although not before he got wounded taking the second one. At 04:50, the call went out to those of us who had remained that we had reached our first and second objectives, but the progress was slow. This was due to the heavy enemy machine gun fire, the poor visibility due to the smoke and the dense undergrowth. The Germans were being forced back. They were showing stubborn resistance to our advance, but I could clearly see they were not keen at close quarter work with the bayonet. When it came to the bayonet, Jerry did not show any enthusiasm to challenge us. By 5:10, we and the 13th were now supported by the 10th. As we advanced, their casualties and ours were left behind for our stretcher bearers to deal with. As I walked forward through the undergrowth with weapon ready to fire and bayonet fixed, I passed Jerry's. The cries of "Mercy, comrade!" We were not encouraged to take prisoners, and the fact that we had heavy casualties ourselves, we couldn't afford to have someone to escort them back. As I continued, there was little mercy shown on either side of this encounter. Jerry were fierce and ruthless warriors. Suddenly, shouts came for us to halt. We advanced so far that we were now in danger of being killed by our own pre-planned barrage for 7 o'clock. We were ordered to fall back to our first objective. Once the tremendous bombardment had stopped, we had to move on again. There was a bloody hand-to-hand fighting which resulted in a lot of casualties. By 6:30 PM, some of us had reached the northern edge of the wood. It's now 10:30 PM, and we are awaiting a possible counterattack from Jerry. So here I now sit, awaiting for my brew. This is our battalion's first major engagement. We advanced on Mametz Wood, some 676 strong. Now, as I sit here at the end of the day, we have lost over 90 lads killed and almost 300 wounded, with the total casualties being recorded as 376. No doubt there will be others that will succumb to their injuries in the coming days and weeks, which make the real toll even higher. One of the lads near me, Private Thomas, has just told us all about a poem he is writing about this horrific day. It was a summer morning on the 10th of last July, when the order came to the Swansea boys to take the wood or die. Steady and determined, as if on a morn's parade, down the slope, across the ridge, like the boys' old brigade, the gallant lads of Little Wales and good old Swansea town, the leading battalion in the charge, and the order was laid down to take the woods at all costs from that warrior Colonel Hayes. Onward went the Swansea boys in the good old British ways. Onward went the boys through their gruesome task. Comrades falling all around, but the wood was reached at last. Into the wood we went, sir, and we met the German horde. We showed them the way of the Welshman fights, and stuck to his new abode. Throughout the long hours of the night, sir, we stuck like British sons, faithful and true to that dear old flag, and our pals behind at the guns. Counter-attack at night, sir, by Hun and Bavarian creed, but we were boys of the good old stock, boys of the bulldog breed.